Today I get to talk to you about something that is so important with menstrual cups, and that is preventing leaks and figuring out why your Pixie cup might be leaking in the first place. I'm going to go through all of the reasons why your cup may be leaking and what to do to resolve that. But honestly, a lot of the reasons why you may be leaking is simply because you are learning your cup and you're learning your body. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with your cup. In the beginning, it does take a little bit of time to figure out exactly what works best for you. I'm going to go over the most common reasons why your cup may be leaking first, and I feel that cup position is one of the main reasons why your cup may be leaking. It's super important to insert your cup correctly so that you're forming a suction on the right part of your body. In the beginning, when I was learning how to use menstrual cups, I would try to insert my cup straight up and it would form a seal on the wrong area. You should be inserting your cup at an angle towards your tailbone so that you can form that suction around your cervix and allow the blood to freely flow into your cup. Also, if it may be kind of hard to get your cup inserted right, try switching positions. Some women like to put one leg up on the toilet, some like to squat, some like to simply sit on the toilet, some like to insert their cup in the shower. It all is preference based, so just try a couple different things to see what's easiest for you. And also remember to relax your muscles. If you're not relaxing and everything is tightened up, it's going to be super hard to insert your cup. So just take a couple deep breaths, relax your muscles, and then your cup will be in no time. The next most common reason why your cup may be leaking is simply your cup did not fully open. I feel like this was my problem when I was learning my cup, because I wasn't double checking to make sure that there were no folds after inserting my cup, and I feel like this is why it leaked all the time. But basically, when you insert your cup, you need to make sure that you're sliding a finger around the rim of the cup to make sure that no parts of your cup are still folded. Sometimes a little tiny piece of your cup may be stuck folded, and so the blood will pass right through there because the seal wasn't fully formed. So make sure that you're sliding your finger around and checking for folds. Also, if there is a fold, just wiggle your cup up and down a bit, or rotate your cup clockwise and counterclockwise. Sometimes just simply moving your cup in those positions will pop that fold open. For me, it also works to just squeeze a little air into the base of the cup, and sometimes it will just make that rim pop right open. So just make sure you're double checking, you're twisting your cup, you're wiggling it up and down just to make sure that that seal is fully created. And if you want to make sure that you have a tight seal, just simply tug on the stem a little bit. And if you tug on it and it doesn't budge at all, that means you have a good seal going. If you tug on it and it slides back down, that means there's a problem and you might want to reinsert that. So make sure you're checking your seal every time you insert your cup to make sure that your cup is fully opening. You also might want to try different folds if you are having problems with your cup not fully opening. For me, the punch down method works the best, but for some people the punch down method might not work the best because you punch one side of your cup down like this, and so sometimes it gets stuck like that and it doesn't fully pop open. Again, if you kind of wiggle your cup up and down and twist it and squeeze some air into your cup, that side should just pop back open. But if the punch down method doesn't work for you, a lot of women like the C fold better because they feel that that opens easier inside you, and because there's not a side that's fully folded down. So try a couple different folds, figure out what works for you. There are a bunch of different folds out there. The punch down fold, the C fold, and the 7 fold, which is taking a side of the cup and folding it all the way down, are the most common. Personally, between these 3 folds, I feel that they could all work, but there are other folds as well. So just make sure you experiment with what works for your body and allows your cup to open the easiest. With menstrual cups, it's super important that you pick the correct size. If you have the wrong size cup, this can lead to leaking. Oftentimes, women will have a cup that's too small for them, and all that does is it makes it so that the cup can't fully seal to anything because it's too small. So it'll just be sliding down your vaginal canal, and the blood will just be passing right through it. That is the more common scenario. Or if your cup is too big and you're trying to insert it, it might not be able to open fully because it will be kind of crushed in there. So just make sure that you're finding the right cup, and it will take some trial and error. But luckily, Pixie Cup have many different sizes for you to try, and they have their 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So if you have the wrong size or it's not working for you, they'll refund your money so you can find the correct cup for you. Some women have trouble inserting their cups because they need their cup to be lubricated. If this is you, make sure that you find a good water-based lubricant that will help the insertion go way more smooth. Pixie Cup does have a water-based lubricant, their Pixie Cup lubricant, that is hypoallergenic, has minimal ingredients, and can help you if you're one of those women that has this problem. It is way easier to get the cup in the right position if you have a smooth cup. You can slide it up and down the canal easily, so that if that is one of the reasons why you may be having leaks, try lubricant. On the contrary, some women need a completely dry cup. So some women find that if their cup is completely dry, it's easier for it to get in the right position. So just toy with both of those options and see what works best for you, because both of those can be a problem. So just make sure you try them both out to see if one of those could be your problem. This next reason why your cup may be leaking is something that I've personally dealt with when I was getting to know my cup, and that was simply not emptying your cup enough. I would put my cup in and then it would start leaking 3 or 4 hours later, and I thought to myself, why am I leaking? It hasn't even been 12 hours. Every single time I would pull my cup out, it would be full. It is true that menstrual cups can last up to 12 hours, but in the beginning of your period, when your days are more heavy, it may mean that you need to empty your cup more often. So that goes to show that if you have a heavier flow, you just simply need to empty your cup more often, preferably every 2 to 4 hours until your period lightens up, and then you can leave your cup in for longer. Strong pelvic floor muscles are beneficial for so many reasons, but when it comes to your Pixie cup, it might be causing leaks, because if you think about it, if your cup is inserted in your vagina and you have really strong pelvic floor muscles, it could be causing your cup to squeeze, which would then push the blood to the top more frequently. That's totally fine. It's not an issue at all. All that means is that you need to be emptying your cup more often. So if you think this might be you, just make sure that you're emptying your cup more often. I talked about this in one of my other videos, but it's super important. I'm going to talk about it again. And it is another reason that your cup could be leaking, and it's clogged air holes. On the side of your Pixie cup, there are 4 air holes. And if those get clogged up, then it can prevent your cup from fully sealing. So make sure that when you're emptying your cup and you're cleaning it off before using it again, check your air holes and make sure they're not clogged. There have been a couple of times that I've checked and mine have been clogged. So if you want to unclog those air holes, simply fill your Pixie cup up with water, stick it to your hand and form a seal, and then give it a good squeeze, and it will shoot water through the holes and unclog them for you. This is really important, so make sure you're checking this every time you're emptying your cup. There have been times that I thought that I was leaking when really it was just residual fluid on my vaginal walls coming out. To prevent this, all you need to do is just make sure to clean that up after you insert your cup. Usually I'll insert my cup and sometimes there's a little leftover blood on the outside. So I'll simply get a Pixie cup wipe and clean the area up, and that's all you need to do to prevent this. And it's not actually a leak like you may think, it's just you needing to clean up that residual fluid. So make sure and do this after every time you insert. Another reason why you may be experiencing leaks is simply due to the position of your cervix. Your cervix is located centrally, but during menstruation it does move. So it's important to figure out where your cervix is sitting when you're inserting your cup. To do that, simply insert a finger into your vagina until you find something that feels like the tip of your nose. It's a little circle. It feels like cartilage. Once you find that, make sure that you angle your cup so that it will open around the cervix. If the cervix is sitting outside of your cup, the blood's just going to run right past your cup. So make sure that you're opening your cup so that the cervix sits inside your cup. Sometimes it may help to position your cup a little bit lower than your cervix so that it can catch all the extra blood. But make sure you're paying attention to this, because again, in the beginning I wasn't. So a lot of times my cervix would be sitting on the outside of my cup and just bleeding right past it. So don't be afraid to learn your body and figure out where that is so you can prevent leaks. Now that I talked about why your cup may be leaking, I'm going to show you what that looks like. The main reasons why your cup may leak, again, are that the cup is too big or too small for you, so the wrong size, or simply that one side of your cup didn't fully open. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to use my Pixie cup. I'm going to use the punch down method on this, where you take one side of your cup, fold it down towards the stem, looks like that, and then I'm going to take this cup and barely insert it and open it up. As you can see, one side did not open all the way. So that's what it looks like inside you when a side didn't open all the way, and that will cause a leak. This time the cup opened up on its own and popped open. That does happen sometimes, but if that doesn't happen for you, then I will show you what to do. So I'm going to insert it again using the punch down method. didn't open all the way, simply squeeze some air into the base of your cup and see that? It popped right open. This works best for me when I take the bottom of the cup and I squeeze some air into it, and that usually makes it pop open. But sometimes this will squish your cup. So if that doesn't work, grab your cup, rotate it clockwise, rotate it counterclockwise, and wiggle it up and down. Sometimes you simply need to pull it down more so it has room to pop open. Also, if you want to check and make sure that you have a tight seal, just grab your stem and give it a good tug. As you can see, I'm pulling this and the cup is going nowhere. You'll easily be able to feel if you don't have a good seal, because when you pull on your stem, your cup will just slide back out or slide up and down really easily. That means that you didn't create a good seal. So make sure that you check that every time you insert your cup, and also make sure that when you insert your cup, before pumping air into it, before turning it, insert a finger and feel around the rim of your cup and check for any folds. If there was a fold right here, you'd be able to feel that, and you can then push air into your cup, twist it, or move it up and down to make sure that side pops back open. Sometimes if it's just completely squished like this inside you, you might have to just pull your cup out and reinsert it and try it that way. If you notice you're experiencing leaks often with the punch down method or the 7-fold method, try the C fold, which is when you just fold the cup in half and form a C shape like this. A lot of women feel like they get less leaks with this fold because it pops open easier. It is a little bit more wide to insert, so if that's an issue, maybe stick with the other folds. But I'll show you what it looks like when you insert with the C fold. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and it just pops open. So for some reason, the way that that is folded, it just pops open easier. And again, it just formed a really nice seal. You will want to still double check, run a finger around the rim, and twist it a bit just to make sure. But if you're having troubles with the other fold, try the C fold. Hopefully this helps you tackle your leaking issues, and just make sure that you try all these different tips so that you can get to know your body and your cup better, and then you'll be able to just simply love your cup.